friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, Poverty Hill Adventures. I'm looking forward to this one. We're going to be spending 3 days camping, primitive cabin camping down in Allegany. Hey everybody, I met a couple of real cool people down here at Allegany, Scott and Jamie, and they real nice people. They're from Maine, and they gave me a bottle of Lost Woods hot sauce. They make and sell this product here. We're going to try it out for dinner tonight. So thank you to Scott and Jamie from Maine. John's got himself a special fishing pole here that I asked him to show everybody the fishing pole that he's got here.
All right, well, introduce myself. I'm John. We're here in Allegany, gonna do some fishing and playing in the woods. But anyways, I fish just about every day if I can. Oh, I guess maybe about 3 years ago, we wound up at deer camp, and a friend of mine from down in Georgia, he's a fine southern gentleman who makes fishing poles for a hobby. And as I walked into the cabin, he said, "John, come here, I want to show you something." And I walked over to him and he said, "You don't fly fish, do you?" I said, "No, I don't. That's one of the few things I don't do." He said, "Well, good, because I made you a spinning rod." And this is the rod that he made me. It's a 9-foot medium action rod, a spinning rod that, and I use it mostly for steelhead, but I've caught an awful lot of other fish with it. And he made this, and he makes several of them, but he's got my name on it and some other things on there. But I use it all the time. And the funny thing is I didn't tell him this at the time, but just before then, I went out and bought a real expensive center pin outfit. I don't know if you know what those are, but the people that do, you'll know that they're very expensive. And after he gave me this, I said, "Well, how can I use this other, highfalutin fishing pole when I got this?" And quite honestly, I've never used that center pin rod, and I got about a $600 or $700 rod just sitting there collecting dust. But every fish that I catch with this is special because, well, for one, it's got my name on it. My friend made it. And another thing about this guy, his name's Jim, like I said, down in Georgia. He makes fishing poles for a hobby, and he enters them in contests. This is a basic, no frills pole, but the ones that he makes are works of art. And I wish him well, because he does make some beautiful fishing poles. I've seen them. But tight lines, everybody.
That's a pretty hard story to match up with there, but I've got my own fishing pole story. Old vintage fiberglass true temper spinning rod with a Garcia Mitchell 300 reel. This was my grandfather's fishing pole, and I thought it'd be cool to take it fishing down here. And my grandfather, he introduced me to a lifelong hobby, a lifelong passion of fishing. He was quite a fisherman himself, and now I'm fishing with his fishing pole. How cool is that?
Hello YouTube, we're back out here at Allegany and we're getting ready to make dinner. And tonight we're going to have venison fajitas. We got some onions and peppers inside getting ready. And here's the venison that we're going to have. This is, it's called cold pack. It's canned venison. And my good friend Bill Brown showed me how to do this. You don't have to refrigerate it once it's prepared. But you fill these jars up with venison and put it in a pressure cooker for, I think it's like 45 minutes or so. And once it's done, it'll stay on your shelf unrefrigerated for 2 years, just like canned vegetables. And it's going to turn out very well. And perhaps you'll get a video of us eating all this good stuff tonight.
John suggested I try this here, and John's a good fisherman, and he catches a lot of fish, so I'm going to use his advice, and we're going to try this morning. Well, I give it a try, but still no fish with Grandpa's fishing pole. But that's okay. I'll tell you why it's okay, because that gives me an excuse to come back and do some more fishing with Grandpa's fishing pole. So as far as gear that we brought, or I brought, John brought his own, and I'd made that video about packing for this trip and what I brought, and it worked out real good. The oil lamps, the kerosene lamps, were perfect. Gave off enough light to, do tasks in the evening and sit out on the porch and have dinner and stuff. And John had brought some candle lanterns, and they worked equally well. As far as cooking gear, we kept it simple, both him and I, and each of us brought a frying pan and a pot, a big pot, and that worked out good too. Bedding, I brought the 2 wool blankets. I certainly didn't need them. It was pretty mild at night. One would have been more than enough, but it wasn't that big a deal to bring the extra one. Cooler and the ice worked out good. They sell ice at a general store in the park, so if we ran low, we could have got more, but the cooler held the ice and kept the food cold. You don't need much. I mean, and I think bringing less sometimes is more, you know what I mean? The headlamps came in handy. Those were, I pretty much keep one in the truck all the time. And fishing gear, well, we didn't catch any fish, but we had the fishing poles and everything was fine. Camera gear. The camera gear, I'm hoping that the images on the Canon turned out good. I think they did, but I did some backup shots with the cell phone. like I said, it was an enjoyable trip. We kept it simple, and I think that's one of the things that made it so enjoyable. As far as the people that work at the park, my hat's off to them. Everything was well taken care of, and everybody was very nice. Check-in is very easy. And as far as the few people that were camping here, we came midweek and it was pretty quiet. There wasn't many people around. But everybody that we ran into seemed to be having a good time, very friendly. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed meeting some of these people and talking with them. And it was a good time.
Good time down here. Didn't do an awful lot. I just did a lot of running around in the woods, and I'm glad you joined me. I was going to come down by myself, and it's having some company and people to talk to. It made for a good weekend, and I'm glad you came. I'm glad I came.